FX Nation, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. As we continue our Trading with a Purpose series, we are now going to start reviewing each individual pair that we're going to follow. If you're new to the channel and you don't know what we're doing, go back and play the playlist for Trading with a Purpose 2025 and you will get caught up. So the four pairs, of course, Pound USD, Pound JPY, Gold, and NAS 100. So we're going to take a quick look at each individual pair to kind of update on where we are in the cycles of these particular pairs, give you my thoughts, and then throughout the week, we're going to go ahead and take a deeper dive into each individual pair and dissect essentially what's happening within it. So let's go ahead and just start out obviously with Pound USD right away. So we're coming off a peak formation high. All right, so immediately you should have a bias of what? Looking for sells. With that being said, let's go into this, and I want you guys to start noticing behaviors, because the biggest thing that I can tell you is understanding behaviors of price. If you can understand behaviors of price, you can understand where price is likely to go. Now, we are not some kind of magical wizards. You are not magical wizards. You're not trying to say price has to go here because I say so. All right, that's not how this works. All right, your goal here is to take price and let it tell you what it wants to do. If we take a look at Pound USD right now, we're coming off a peak formation high, which means that we should be looking for sell setups. Now, the biggest thing that I see here when we look at this particular chart is the first thing is we had a major pullback into this area. Okay, now that major pullback, essentially what that is essentially doing is it's throwing off a lot of people on whether or not you should be buyers or sellers. Here's the simple thing that you can do. Okay, that as long as you have a peak formation that you can trade off of, you're going to use that bias until that bias is proven wrong. Okay, how is that bias proven wrong? Well, typically when you get a reset is when you're proven wrong, right? And so you have to understand that no matter if you have your bias of a peak formation high and you're looking for sells and you take a trade, right, that trade might still end up losing, right? And that's perfectly fine. That's just part of the probabilities of you being a trader. It's just what happens. A lot of traders, what happens is they have their bias and they start looking for, let's say, sell setups, and then what ends up happening is they take a loss or they take two losses, and then they kind of like go all crazy and are like, this doesn't work, or this doesn't feel right, or maybe I'm doing something wrong, blah 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 blah. And that feeling that you get whenever that happens is the fact that you don't really understand the purpose or the strategy itself, how you should understand. So when I look at a chart like this, like Pound USD, we're coming off a peak formation high and we should be looking for sells. When does that, for me, stop being the narrative? Like, when do I start saying, okay, well, maybe there's something different here? Okay, for me, is very simply by taking a fib. Once we have the crossover, okay, and we have a real major pullback. Sometimes we don't get pullbacks like this, okay? Sometimes it just drops, okay? So you're not always going to get major pullbacks, all right? But typically you'll get one pullback after the crossover happens. And in this case here, it was this start of the pullback here. Now, essentially, look where this pullback goes, right? The pullback basically goes to 618, okay? Now, look what's happening at that level. Look what's happening at price, right? You're starting to get wicks. Everything is wicking. Wicks here, wicks everywhere, all around this entire area. You have to start asking yourself, okay, why is price wicking? Why is price is price afraid to go above 618 or something like that? Why is it doing that? that's one thing. Another thing is looking at the higher time frame. Look at the daily time frame. Okay, what is clear about the daily time frame? If you look at the daily time frame right now, are we in an uptrend or are we in a downtrend? Just ask yourself, are we going up or down on pound USD on the daily? So far, we've been going up. We've been going up since the beginning of the year, right? We've been in an uptrend on the daily chart since the beginning of the year. What's happening right now, though, on the daily chart? Well, it's just essentially consolidating. That's all it's doing. It's just consolidating, right? We're stuck basically between price right here and we're stuck between price right here. That's it. We're just getting consolidation between these two areas. Okay. The only thing good that's going to happen out of this is the fact that once it stops consolidating, we're going to get a major move in a direction. Do I care whether it goes up or down? No. I can care less whether it goes up or down. Okay. I don't care whether it goes up or down. It doesn't matter to me. The only thing that matters is that the pair presents a clear directional bias that I can use for the setups that I'm looking for. If the pair is not giving me a clear directional bias, then for me, it's not worth taking trades on that specific pair. I just go look at a different pair. There's no reason for me to add risk to something that I'm not confident in. And so that's the main principle right there that I use. Right, so I can clearly see we are in an uptrend on pound USD. For me, until we break below 128,700, okay, it's very likely that we will continue to go up higher. Okay, so what does that translate to on the smaller time frame, like a 1 hour time frame, 2 hour time frame, whatever? Well, if we're eventually going to end up going higher, and let's say we stay within this specific range here, then it's very likely to reset if that's what price does. Now, does that mean that price is going to reset? No. It's just an analysis that I'm doing based on what price is giving me right now. And so if price were to, let's say, not give me a reset and continue with this path of peak formation high and then going further down, then obviously I'm going to expect price to break below 28,700 on the daily. If we can break below this, then we have a very good chance at going down to 128, 127, and so forth and so on. The bulk of orders are basically going to be sitting at previous areas. So areas like this. Okay, this area here is going to have a lot of orders underneath it and above it. Again, do I care whether price goes up or down? No, I don't. If price wants to go higher and continue the uptrend, that's great. Okay, where is price likely to go? Well, if we just look at the previous moves, right, that we have, where is price likely to go? Well, to me, it's likely to want to go here, and after that, it's very likely to want to go all the way up to the top here. So think of these as like train stops, train stations on a track. Price has already gotten to this station, left the station. Now it's at an area where it's just consolidating, and either the route's going to continue to go higher or not. And again, we don't care which one it does. We can care less whether it goes up or down. It doesn't matter. The only thing that I care about is, can I get a directional bias that fits my narrative, yes or no? If I can't get one, that's okay. I just go look at a different pair. It's not that big a deal. The biggest thing that you can do to help yourself, be aware of when a chart or a pair is just not giving you what you're looking for. And if it's not, that's okay. Just go look at a different pair. It's not that big a deal. As long as price, for me, as long as price is staying below 620, because we keep spiking into that area. And if we go back here to this day, okay, if we go back to a smaller time frame, let's go back to, let's say, a 15-minute chart. And let's just put in the days of the week so we know where we are, right? If we take a look here, this spike here, this is a spike that went up to 786 on the fib, right? Why, you gotta ask yourself, why did this spike happen, right? Why did this spike happen? And most importantly, why did price retrace after the spike happened? Ask yourself, why did that happen? Well, if we just look at previous highs, right, there's highs that are basically all over the place. There's highs that are here, there are highs that are here, there are highs that are here. All this candle did was essentially grab all of the orders that were sitting in this area. That's all it did. It spiked, grabbed, and then moved away. You know that it grabbed orders because it immediately moved away. It didn't hang out here and have lunch. It literally grabbed it and immediately reversed. You immediately had a railroad track here, a big railroad track. So that's the behavior part of what the market did here, was went up, grabbed all the orders that were sitting up here. You could literally stretch this out, cleared out all the orders that were sitting up here, and then moved away immediately. So what now? Well, if we take a look at price action literally right now during the London session, do you see something that is tradable, right? For coming off peak formation high, can you see it? So that right there would be essentially a type 2 trade out of the edge. All right, where our first leg is in the Asian session, second leg is at the very beginning of the London session. All of these patterns, by the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the pattern series playlist on the channel and it explains all of this for you. So if you're new to the channel, go watch that playlist and it explains everything for you. Okay, but this right here would be a great example of a type 2 trade out of the edge. What's the setup look like on the second leg though? The second leg doesn't give you any kind of a second leg pattern, meaning doesn't give you like a railroad tracks star pattern, quarter wood, or anything like that. Okay, so what is it that you would have instead? You basically would have to use the close of the 13 EMA, which happens on this candle, right? And then after that candle, you get a pullback. That pullback allows this trade to get you an extremely good risk to reward ratio, right? Because anywhere in this particular wick, you can get in on the trade. The further up, obviously, the better. But if you're looking for the trade setup, I mean, just going back down to the bottom of the range is close, pretty much a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio, depending on where you have your stop loss. And let's just say you're conservative, you put your stop loss all the way up here at the top. You're still at a 2.5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And right now, you would have been done 10 minutes ago on this trade. And you would have been done. That's it. There's your trade for the day. So understand the nuances that make up what's happening right now on this particular pair. I know that if you're new to this strategy, obviously it's not going to be, a piece of cake or whatever. I get it. I understand. But there's 400 videos that I've made on the strategy that literally break down everything for you already. Right now, still waiting, still looking for sells. We obviously got to sell today. Type 2 trade out of the edge. Okay, 2.5-to-1 risk to reward ratio on it. All right, now what? Well, now there's no trades right now, obviously, on this particular pair until we get into the New York session to see what happens, right? And it's all about waiting to see what happens. You can only make decisions based on the data that you have currently. So don't try to do something, manipulate, something that's really not there. make your trading very black and white. Make it very disciplined. The trade setups are either there or they're not. They're either meeting your rules, your trading plan, or they're not. If they're not, there is no trade. If they are, there's a trade. Okay, and then after that, it's just literally up to probabilities. So pound USD, still looking for sells unless we break above that area here of 618. And then if it does break above that area and actually like closes, that's the important part, because it could wake up there all it wants to. It needs to close. So as long as it closes above this area here, then we could possibly start to see, okay, this could be a reset. Another thing that you can use that I don't think a lot of people do use is the dollar index. The dollar index kind of tells you what's going to happen with the dollar pairs. Okay, you're coming off a peak formation low, so you should be looking for dollar strength, but you can see what's happening here. The dollar strength is going away, and you could do the same thing on this one too. You can fib it. Okay, you can fib it. And look, it's right there at 618. It's kind of the same scenario. If this continues to go down, okay, and let's say this ends up going further down and breaking previous peak formation lows and going lower, okay, obviously this turns into a reset, right? And then essentially all it is telling you is dollar weakness. So pound USD would be going up and also essentially resetting. If you look at this at the dollar index, I mean, look at it. What are you doing on the dollar index right now? Are you seeing dollar strength or dollar weakness? Right, long term, what are you seeing? Dollar weakness right now, right? We ever since Trump was put into office, we've seen a sell-off, dollar weakness. It's right here on the chart. Look, he went into office on the 20th? Right here, as soon as he went into office, look, it started to dump. And you can see that there's a broader range here all the way down to 100 that we could potentially see if this resets. Because if this resets, that means that it breaks this low here of 103, 100, 103 even, right? And then from there, I mean, there's nothing. There's no price action here to stop price from going all the way down to 100. But you guys have to be patient enough to wait it out, to let price tell you, okay, are we going to do that or not? So those are my thoughts on pound USD. Next up, we're going to do pound JPY. Obviously, we're going to do gold. We're going to do NAS 100. It'll be in a different video, but they'll all be released this week. So you guys can know essentially what my thoughts are for this week on those particular pairs. But these are my thoughts on pound USD. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope this video brought you some value and better understanding as what you should be looking for on pound USD. Till the next one, guys, do me a favor, like, share the content, subscribe to the channel. If you need more help, just sign up for FXN Plus, and we'll be there to help you. All right, guys, till the next one. See you later.